Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. We have some interesting situations developing, and that includes intense combat right near Venezuela by and including Venezuelan-backed forces engaged in massive gunfights, and all of this is happening as the United States of America continues its military buildup in the region to pressure the Maduro regime. On top of that, we have Cuba that is now in the mix. President Trump signaling what his true war plans might be in Venezuela, as well as some spy drones that are up in the air, going to work, finding out where the targets are. We have a lot to discuss. Another rapid development. I'm filming this on December 6th, so all information in the video is up to date as of December 6th. Obviously, you know it's fluid. Things change, but December 6th, that's the information you guys are getting now. Before we get into it, as always, please make sure to like and subscribe. Totally free. Cost you guys absolutely nothing at all. Huge boost to the channel. Comment with your thoughts below. You guys have been amazing in the comments. Fire off all your theories, opinions. How do you want to see this play out? What do you think it means? Let me know in the comments below. Hit that bell. All notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. And then right here, Instagram, David_Hookstead, XDHookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Please reach out with whatever you got. And our membership tiers for exclusive access linked in the video description and in the pinned comment. Now let's get into it. So we are continuing. The United States is continuing its massive military buildup in the Caribbean, and that includes not just the aircraft carrier. We have guided missile destroyers. We have spy planes. We've got bombers. We got thousands of troops. We got F-35s, F-18s. We have brought a shitload of firepower to the region in order to try to get rid of Nicolás Maduro, the dictator of Venezuela. And as I often say, our problem is not with the good people of Venezuela. Our problem is solely with the dictator in Caracas and his nasty government regime. Now, we talked about in a previous video that I released on Friday, Maduro demanded $200 from the U.S. an amnesty for 100 government officials in order to step down. Obviously, the United States said, no, get the F out of here. That is never going to happen. So it appears we are now in a staring contest or a Mexican standoff, whatever you want to call it, in order to figure out what we are going to do here. Maduro will not go. The United States will not let him stay in power. The problem for Maduro is the United States has the strongest military the world has ever seen, and the Venezuelans don't have much. But what the Venezuelans do have is they have a lot of rebel groups and terrorist organizations that they work closely with, arm and train. And one of those is the ELN, which got into a massive gun battle with the FARC. And of course, the FARC rebels are also have some ties to Venezuela, but not nearly as much. So this video, I believe, hit the internet on Thursday, December 4th. It shows the guys engaged in incredibly brutal and a massive, overwhelming gunfight. So let's go ahead and watch that now. You can hear just gunfire ripping through everywhere.
No es el equipo.
So that is the footage that you just watched of the FARC now fighting the ELN. Now, the ELN is a terrorist organization that is backed by the Maduro regime, and they operate all over the Venezuela-Colombian border. They have safe refuge in Venezuela. They get training from the Venezuelan military. They get weapons from the Venezuelan military, and they help the Maduro regime push smuggling, drugs, crime, whatever it is. The ELN is a terrorist organization in the eyes of the U.S. government. So now they're fighting FARC, another terrorist organization in Colombia, right on the Venezuelan border. There is almost a 100% chance this is happening on Maduro's orders. He wants to create chaos. Colombia, even though their current leader is an absolute idiot, has historic long ties with the United States. So he's probably thinking, hey, if I can stir up a lot of problems, then maybe I can kind of gain some leverage here. So he is having his people that he is, I don't want to say de facto, but essentially quietly pushing and has great influence over the ELN. They are engaging in terrorist activity and combat. As this is happening, put this up on the screen for you. Reuters reported that elements within the Cuba have contacted U.S. officials about Maduro. It says the U.S. pressure campaign against Venezuela has led elements within the Cuban regime. Cuba, of course, is one of Venezuela's biggest allies, certainly its biggest in the region. It provides him security. It keeps his regime propped up. So the Cubans and Maduro have a very close relationship. His closest bodyguards are not Venezuelan, actually. They are Cuban, and that's where the report said that if he tries to flee, the Cubans might kill him. It says the U.S. pressure campaign against Venezuela has led to elements within the Cuban regime to reach out to the U.S. about the region would look like without Nicolás Maduro leading Venezuela. Two sources familiar with the context said on Friday. The sources who asked to remain anonymous to describe sensitive information declined to say who specifically from Cuba had contacted the U.S. Elements within the Cuban regime reached out to the U.S., a source briefed on the matter said. There have been discussions between the two about what the world would look like without a Maduro regime. A second source confirmed the contacts. Neither source provided further details. Cuba issued a statement on November 27th accusing the U.S. of seeking a violent overthrow of Venezuela's government and called the U.S. military buildup in the region an exaggerated and aggressive threat. The dramatic escalation of U.S. firepower in the Latin American region includes the Ford Carrier Strike Group, 8 warships, a nuclear submarine, and F-35 aircrafts. In the statement, Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez said it would be extremely dangerous and irresponsible for the U.S. to overthrow the Maduro government, as well as violation of international law and the United Nations Charter. So the Cubans are now secretly reaching out to, well, not secret anymore because it's in Reuters, are now secretly reaching out to the United States to try to figure out what it's going to look like when we get rid of Maduro. They might be coming to the realization they cannot save Maduro. Maduro is going down one way or another, and they're trying to get ahead of whatever might be coming. Very smartly, I might add, because if the Cubans, they don't have much, but they actually do have good intelligence. It's the one thing the Cubans do correctly. If they know he's going down, they're going to want to try to position themselves as best they can. The biggest problem for Cuba is they get essentially free oil from Venezuela to prop up their economy. And they know that if Maduro goes down, that oil is going to be cut off, and then Cuba will feel the economic pains of that, and they know they could be next. Now, as for Trump on Truth Social on Saturday morning shared a story about how getting rid of Maduro, you can see it on your screen right there, is not actually so much about Venezuela as it is a warning to our enemies elsewhere, such as Putin. This is key. I have brought this up many, many times. Venezuela has allowed Russia, China, Iran to have influence in our hemisphere. They have a foothold right on our front door. And so, yes, the drugs are part of it, but they're not the whole thing. A big part of it is we do not want our enemies to have influence in our hemisphere. And so if you read some of this op-ed that was shared on Fox News that President Trump shared, I'll put it on the screen. He's pretty much making his plan crystal clear. He's not hiding what he's doing. Like, this is about getting rid of our enemies having any footprint on our front door in our backyard. It says President Trump has seen recent setbacks in his polling numbers on many issues, but one bright spot in surveys has been his aggressive approach to Venezuela, including taking out drug cartel boats. But there is another purpose at work here, one that may help to end the war in Ukraine. What is important to understand is that Venezuela is a client state of Russia, as is Iran and as was Syria, until the recent overthrow of Bashar al-Assad. One by one, Trump has been proving that against American might, Putin cannot keep his sketchy global friends safe. Russia's track record with allies like Iran, Syria, and now Venezuela reveals a familiar pattern. Peter Doran, adjunct senior fellow for the Foundation of Defense of Democracies, told me the Kremlin will make lavish statements of support, but provide minimal backing when real threats emerge to its clients. Noting how thin Putin is stretched by the war in Ukraine and U.S. sanctions, Doran said keeping Maduro in power is a bridge too far for Moscow if President Trump presses the issue. One can almost see Trump's main negotiator, Steve Witkoff, saying to a Russian counterpart, "How's your boy Maduro doing? Seems to be having a tough time. I wish we could help." While Putin has been murdering Ukrainians and maintaining the largest European land war in generations, Trump has been weakening Russia's global power. Syria is making nice with America. Iran is denuclearized, and now that leaves Venezuela. So I've said this many, many times, that this is about much more than the drug boats. Much, much, much more than the drug boats. This is about kicking the Russian and the Chinese out. And Russia has flown a lot of planes into Venezuela carrying unknown cargo. It's believed to be air defense systems, but that has not been confirmed independently by the U.S. If it is air defense systems, it'll be very old school air defense systems that will not stand a chance. Speaking of the drug boat strikes, we did have a new one on December 4th. There's been a lot of controversy about the drug boats. There's been a lot of claims that arguments at the political level, but Secretary of War Pete Hegseth has made it clear that the drug boat strikes will continue. On December 4th, at the direction of Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spirit conducted a lethal kinetic strike on a vessel in international waters operated by a designated drug terrorist organization. Intelligence confirmed that the vessel was carrying illicit narcotics and transiting along a known narco trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific. 4 male narco terrorists aboard the vessel were killed. So let's watch this strike video. You can see the boat has been completely destroyed. Massive, massive fireball. Let's watch it one more time. Make sure we didn't miss anything. So I'll pause it here. As I said last time, look at all of the drugs in the front of the boat. You got multiple motors loaded with drugs. And there it is. It is gone forever. Another successful boat strike, and the strikes will absolutely continue. Now, on this note, we have been flying spy drones down to Mexico repeatedly. This was from December 5th. This was posted for at least the 4th night in a row. An MQ-4C Triton high-altitude surveillance drone has departed from Naval Station in Mayport in Jacksonville, Florida, and is heading southeast towards its nightly patrol area off the eastern coast of Mexico. So we are flying spy drone flights on a regular basis now off the coast of Mexico, right near where cartel activity might be happening. And remember, Trump said strikes on land will begin soon. For those of you who are unaware of what this drone is, looks like this. It is a massive spy drone with incredible signals, intelligence capabilities, and obviously video capabilities. So it is a beast. It is a beast of a drone. What year did they start making these? 2018. So they have been in production since 2018. All right, I'm going to pull this off the screen. So that is where we are at this moment. We have massive combat breaking out on the Venezuelan border, right next to where Maduro is, as we have a huge military buildup. And the people fighting, the ELN, are heavily backed, trained, armed, and supported by the Maduro regime. They're fighting inside Colombia. They are a designated terrorist organization by the U.S., as is the FARC. And that continues to essentially sow chaos is what he's trying to do. He wants to bring as much chaos to the region as possible. I don't know if he thinks that's going to save him or not. I truly don't understand his strategy. What we also know is that the Cubans now are back channeling with the United States to try to figure out how this might all play out. You've got Trump clearly stating or sharing a link saying this is about much more than the drug boats. And that comes as we blew up another drug boat and we are flying spy flights all over Mexico. So the situation continues to be rapidly developing, continues to have massive updates day after day as we continue to press forward and try to get the Maduro regime thrown out of there, which would be good for the world, would be good for America, would be great for our hemisphere, would be great for all of our allies. That guy's a scumbag and he needs to go, and he will go. The question is simply just when will he go? So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this entire situation. How do you want to see it play out? What do you think will happen? Let me know in the comments below. Please make sure to like and subscribe, totally free. Huge, huge, huge boost to the channel. Hit that bell, all notifications turned on. You won't miss a thing. Instagram, David_Hookstead, X Hookstead. That's where you can find me on social media. My DMs are wide open. Reach out with whatever you got. Our exclusive members only link is in the video description as well as in the pinned comment. So please check that out as well. As always, it's been a pleasure hanging out with y'all. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time.